Need more time? Want more from your business and your life? Welcome to the Simple Life Habits Podcast, where you'll learn how to work less, do more, and live your life with greater focus. Now, here's your host, Jonathan Milligan.
What are your favorite productivity tools? That's what today's podcast is going to be about. My favorite productivity tools that I use daily. Welcome to the Simple Life Habits Podcast. This is Jonathan, your host. Appreciate you joining us for another podcast. My goal is to have a weekly podcast you can listen to on your commute, your jog, or your run, with the goal of helping you discover how to work less, do more, and live your life with greater focus. Before we jump into the topic today, this episode is actually brought to you by Get Productive. That's the 30-day challenge that you can take right now on simplelifehabits.com. It's a simple step-by-step plan that you can start today, and each day there is an action step for you to do. And each day builds upon another. And I take some of the best productivity books and minds out there and combine it into one simple system that you can begin to put together to get more stuff done. So today's topic is the top 5 productivity apps I use daily. I love productivity tools. I'll be the first to admit I have a shiny objects disease. There's times where I have to really rein it back, because I get excited about new tools that come out and I want to play with them. I've jumped from one tool to the next too many times in the past, and I finally started to settle in, at least for now, into a few tools that I'm using every single day. You know, we live in a wonderful time as we have many productivity tools to help us to be more productive. I get asked quite a bit the following questions. How are you using Evernote? What do you use to manage your tasks? What tools are you using to get stuff done? And while I'm always evolving, I thought I would share some of the top productivity tools that I am using daily. These are my go-to apps. These are the things that I have to use, and I'm currently using a lot to manage my day. Now, if you know my story, then you know that I'm quite the busy bee. I operate 3 separate blogs, along with creating 2 podcasts weekly. Life is busy, and I need tools to help me manage my chaotic world. So in no particular order, I'm going to give you my top 5 productivity tools, explain to you a little bit each on how I'm using it to really get a ton of stuff done every day. Tool number 1, Evernote. Now, I'd be surprised if you're just now hearing about Evernote. I have been a premium user since the very beginning. And honestly, I'm coming up with new uses every day for this tool. Evernote stays open on my computer all day long. Here's a few of the primary uses that I use for Evernote. I capture anything I want to read or remember later. One of the things I love to do, especially on the iPad, is I love to download PDFs, or anytime I get a hold of a PDF, it has a little button in the top right hand corner that allows me to open an Evernote. I do that automatically because I want to capture it so I can read it later. I even have a read and review folder, or actually I should say tag, for all of the read and review PDFs that I download. So when I have some downtime in my day, I'll pull up my iPad, open Evernote, and I'll just start reading and learning about a topic, whatever it is that you're interested in. Another thing I use Evernote for is I write my morning pages, and it's in a folder that I have labeled Daily Journal. Now, if you don't know morning pages, I have a post, and I'll put a link in the show notes. Morning pages is an awesome way to start your day. See, when we wake up, and I know if you're like me, I wake up and my mind is full. I've got the day ahead of me. I've got a lot on my mind, things that I've been dwelling on from the evening that's carried over to the day. And so the habit I have is I use it on my iPad. I will sit down first thing in the morning and I will write in an Evernote note. And I call it Morning Pages. And I shoot for about 750 words. It's very unstructured. I write about anything that's just bugging me, anything that I'm dwelling on, an idea that I had. I allow myself some time to explore it, and I just get all that out. And then from there, I'll go back over and look for to-dos that I need to add to my to-do list, people I need to contact, so on and so forth. But Morning Pages is a great habit for you to form, and I do it inside of Evernote so that I can review that stuff later. I also collect blog post ideas that come to me throughout the day. I've got designated folders for that. I tag every story, illustration, or quote that I find interesting. That way, I'm always prepared. If I were to give a speech or jump on a webinar or do a coaching session, I have those tools at my access. I'm able to get to them. I also store, logins, important information, stuff that I need to find later. I catalog sermon notes for messages that I hear at my church. And those are just a few things. But most of all, what I love about Evernote is that you can capture things in so many different ways. If you've read Getting Things Done, even if you have not fully implemented the system, you will find a great nugget in this. Capture everything. See, if I'm in a meeting and we've used the whiteboard, I snap a picture with my iPhone and add that picture to Evernote. Those words that appear on that whiteboard are able to be searched inside Evernote. If someone hands me notes on a paper, I snap a photo of it on Evernote and I throw the paper away. It just has been a habit of me. I'm always getting papers and things. And so that's what I do. If I get an email with an attachment, I just email directly into Evernote. I set up a Gmail account that is only for Evernote, and it automatically forwards to my Evernote account. If I see something new online, I use the Evernote web clipper to grab it, capture it, look at it later. If I read an inspiring blog post on my Google Reader, I forward that immediately to Evernote, something for me to dwell on later. Just get used to capturing everything into a default folder labeled inbox. That's what I have in Evernote. And then I end up tagging the notes and dragging it into like a cabinet archive folder. That keeps it simple, and I'm able to find it later. So that is my go-to app that I'm using probably the most throughout the day is Evernote. It's a great external brain, as they call it, to capture everything. Tool number 2, Wunderlist. And that's spelled Wunderlist. They've recently come out with a second version, and I love it. Now, there's so many different things I could probably say about this app, but I'm just going to share some highlights with you. Now, I will admit, one of my dreams in life is for Evernote to figure out how to do this task management thing. I know there's some people that use it. I've tried before, and I still find myself being pulled back into trying it. There are some developers that are creating some tools that I think are close but not quite there. But right now, what I love to use is Wunderlist. And the reason why is because I can access it anywhere. I have Wunderlist on my iPad, iPhone. It's a standalone app on my main computer. I have access online if I'm on a different computer somewhere else. I love being able to create lists. I think that's what I love most about Wunderlist. I like to do some things that I call sprint projects. These are like short-term projects that in my spontaneity I've just thought about, and with the energy and passion I want to go after it and get it done. So I'll create a list and put all the items in there that is necessary to complete that project and then go after it and attack it. So I love that there's all these different lists that you can create. I've also got permanent lists. For example, I've got a list that is called blogging, and all of my to-dos or the tasks that I need to accomplish for my various blogs are in the blogging list. I have one for home. There's personal to-dos that involve me getting things done, as a husband, as a father, as a manager of my home. It all falls underneath the home list. And then I have one for church because I've got personal involvement in my local church. And so I've got my task in there. I've got a someday maybe list, a reminders list when I need to remember certain things, and I put the alert feature, turn it on. I've got one just for prayer requests. You know, people who are struggling, they're going through a difficult time. I put them on my list, and I think about them, and I pray for them. Then I've got a projects and waiting list. I don't know about you, but I can't get to all of my ideas, and especially can't get to them when I want to. But what helps me is just to have a projects and waiting list so that when I am ready, I can create one of those new lists inside Wunderlist and attack it like a sprint project. And so you say, well, how do you manage all those different lists? Well, I'll probably need to write a separate blog post or even a podcast on my exact system, but I love to use the star feature on the stuff that I really want to get done today. So before I start a work session, I will go through and star those things in Wunderlist that are the things that absolutely must get done today. And then you can view just your starred items across the different lists, and it keeps you focused in your day, no matter which context you currently are in. So, enough about Wunderlist. The other thing I love is that it is free. It doesn't cost a thing. So I'd encourage you, if you haven't tried it, give it a try. Tool number 3 for me is WorkFlowy. Now, I have loved WorkFlowy since the time I discovered it. It is a simple way to capture information in a bullet form format. And just by simply tabbing, you can create this ongoing bullet list under different topics. It's one of those things that over audio, it's hard to explain. But if you just go to workflowy.com, you'll see the beauty, simplicity, and power that is in WorkFlowy. But I'll be honest with you, my challenge has been to figure out where it works best in my current setup. And what I've discovered is that it works best for me when it comes to capturing the stuff that I'm learning. I love to learn. At any one time, I'm reading several books, I'm listening to many different podcasts, I'm participating on many online different training video courses, I'm involved in different communities. I want to make sure I'm capturing the things I'm learning. Now you say, well, you can do that in Evernote, and I have done that. But what I love about this is you can search it like Evernote, but you can keep it in a nice list where you can go back and quickly get an overview of everything in one place. And that's the beauty and simplicity of WorkFlowy. So WorkFlowy has become my note taker. So if you're listening to a podcast, have WorkFlowy open while you're listening to that podcast so that you can take things and you can categorize them and you can stick them into a bullet list and look at them or review them later. And I'm telling you, if you love to learn like I do, then you will find a WorkFlowy to be a wonderful note taker for you. And then when questions arise later, or I've had this happen when I'm in a coaching session and someone asks me a question, I go back over into my note taker, do some quick searches, and I've got tools at my fingertips to help them. So check out workflowy.com. Tool number 4 is Snagit. Now, I bought Snagit last year with Camtasia, and I'm so glad I did. It's a great tool that is just waiting for me to use it, and it rests in the toolbar. If I need to capture a quick video or a picture, it's ready to go. I also like that it makes a great photo editor too. I can quickly put words across my photo. I can quickly resize that photo before adding it to a blog post. There's so many different useful uses for Snagit. So I'd encourage you to go check it out, but it's something I use daily. Tool number 5, Dropbox. Here's another tool that can be everywhere for you. I often work at different locations, and I'm working across different, between my iPad and a laptop, computer, And so I need to be able to access some of the stored media files, whether it's Word documents or Excel spreadsheets, or it's videos that I've created, or even podcasts. And I've got other business partners and people who work for me from time to time. And so they need to have access to some of the files so they can edit them, create things, create graphics, use different things. And so Dropbox makes that so much nicer. So if you hadn't had a chance to check out Dropbox, go do it right now. You can go over to Dropbox.com. I think they still give you a lot of free space in the beginning until you really start to use it. And then you can, of course, always pay to get more space. So there you have it. Those are the main productivity apps that I'm using daily. Now, what I did leave out is a lot of the Google products, because I just wanted to focus on more specifically applications. Of course, I'm using the Google Calendar, and I'm using Gmail, and I'm using Google Docs, which now is called Google Drive. But those are the top 5 tools that I'm using daily. So what productivity apps are you using daily? Do you have a few go-to ones? Is there areas that you're deficient in that you need to start using so that you can capture everything? That's the big theme for today's podcast, is being able to capture it all. Whether you're capturing your to-dos, whether you're capturing your life story and journaling, whether you're capturing PDFs, things that you want to read later, whether you're capturing the notes and the stuff that you're learning. Don't just read books just to read them, but learn from them. Apply them to your life. Capturing photos with Snagit, capturing files in Dropbox. The big theme here is capture it all and then use it. Use it later, use it today, but use this resource that you are capturing. That way, whenever it's time for you to step up and lead, to speak, to be a part of something, you're prepared. When opportunity arises, you're prepared, because you can go back to your resources, the apps that you've been using, and quickly discover things that you can share. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up today. Again, figure out those simple life habits that you want to develop in your life, and focus on how to begin working less by doing more, yet in living your life with greater focus.